Hello, this is Electronics Tutorial 1. Here we will study about history of electronics. So, the invention of vacuum tube or thermionic valve brought in the age of electronics. Now, what is vacuum tube? A vacuum tube, it is also called electron tube, and in UK it is called valve. It is a device that controls electric current between electrodes in an evacuated container. So it basically controls electric current between the electrodes present in an evacuated container. What are the applications of vacuum tube? Many new and exciting applications were found for these devices. First of all, what is the use of vacuum tube? It is used to amplify electronic signals. On the right hand side, you can see this is vacuum tube, modern vacuum tubes. They are mostly miniature style. So yeah, where are vacuum tube used? It is used in TV, radios and early computers. They were earlier used in TV, radios and computers, but now vacuum tubes are replaced by semiconductors or transistors. It is used in high power radio frequency transmitters and microwave ovens. It is also used in high power radio frequency transmitters and microwave ovens. And the sound created by a tube-based amplifier is used in electric guitar amplification. So it is also used in music industries. It is used in electric guitar amplification. Basically, vacuum tube is used to amplify electronic signals, right? And this amplifier, sound created by tube-based amplifier, is used in electric guitar amplification. And vacuum tube devices like X-ray tubes, cathode ray tubes, etc. found uses and application in mobile phones, Bluetooth, which is a basic need now. So these X-ray tubes, cathode ray tubes are all vacuum tube devices. They are used in mobile phones, Bluetooth, etc. Basically, vacuum tubes look like light bulbs with a filament sealed in a glass envelope from which all the air has been removed. You can see it's like a light bulb, no? With a filament sealed in a glass envelope. And air, it's a vacuum. Air is not there. Now, many scientists are involved. Many great names like Edison, Marconi, Ambrose Fleming, De Forest, etc. are associated with electronics. See, vacuum tubes rely on thermionic emission of electrodes. It rely on thermionic emission. So it relies on thermionic emission of electrons from a hot filament or cathode heated by the filament. See, it has two electrodes, one cathode and one anode. So it relies on thermionic emissions of electrons from a hot filament, which is nothing but cathode heated by the filament. So this type of tube is called thermionic tube or thermionic valve. We have other tubes like phototube, which achieves electron emission through the photoelectric effect. So scientists like, as I already told, Edison, Marconi, Ambrose, Fleming, De Forest, etc. are associated with the invention of vacuum tube. This thermionic emission was originally reported in 1873 by Frederick Guthrie. The name of the scientist is Frederick Guthrie. And then it was Thomas Edison's 1883 investigation that spurred future research, the phenomena thus becoming known as the Edison effect. Edison's patent what he found, but he did not understand the underlying physics. Rectifying property of such a device was utilized most notably by John Ambrose Fleming. So, Ambrose utilized the rectifying property of vacuum tubes. He used the diode tube to detect radio signals. Ambrose used these tubes to detect the radio signals. Now, the most remarkable invention was of De Forest. What he told is, he told the transition. He basically brought about the transition from diode to triode by introducing third electrode in the vacuum tube diode, which brought about major change in electronics. Transition from diode to triode. Diode has two electrodes and he introduced a third electrode, which actually brought about a major change in electronics. Now, what is diode? Diode is shown on the right hand side. This is the symbol. This is anode, this is cathode. Diode is made up of silicon, germanium or selenium, and it is used for rectification. Triode. Now De Forest introduced a third electrode in the vacuum tube diode, and then it was called triode. Triode consists of 3 electrodes. It is so this is our heated filament. Emissions of electrons take place from this filament only, right? Heated filament. It's heated filament. This is cathode. This is our anode, which is a metal plate. And this is our new electrode, which is wire grid or control grid. Fine. Triode is also shown on the right hand side. Now working. See, this heated filament that I showed earlier is also called thermionic filament. Why? Because thermionic emission takes place from this hot filament. Now current is passed through this heated filament or thermionic filament, and thermionic electrons are developed. Electrons are developed which are collected by metal plate, which is anode. Control grid in between two electrons. It is in between the two electrons. So any voltage impinged on them will alter the flow of electron between two main electrons. A given change in grid voltage causes a proportional change in plate current. So if a time varying voltage is applied to the grid, the plate current waveform will be a copy of the applied grid voltage. And also a relatively small variation in voltage on the control grid. A relatively small variation of voltage on the control grid causes significant large variation in anode current. It will cause a very significant large variation in anode current. So the variation in anode voltage can be much larger than the variation in grid voltage which cause it, and thus the tube can amplify. So any variation in anode voltage, the variation in anode voltage will be much larger than the variation which is in grid voltage. So that's why the tube can amplify. We have diode, triode, and now we have tetrodes also, pentodes also, and multifunction and multi-section tubes shown on the right hand side at the top. So the invention of vacuum tubes actually brought in the age of electronics. Thank you. These are the notes. These are stuffs that I just told you.